this looks like our kind of parking lot. So I just made it up here to ERX Motorpark in Elk River, Minnesota for the Midwest Ride-In. This is the event that they normally have done in the past for the past 30 years down on Lake Waconia. They've moved it up to ERX this year, and we are excited to see what they have in store for us. These guys know how to attract the crowd.
Hey, I'm here with Valdi Stefanson of the Midwest Ride-In. Valdi, can you tell me what you got going on here today?
This is the largest of the vintage events in the world. There is about 5,000 people here today. All of us are having fun. This is an annual event. I think we're up to year 30. So we've been at this for a few years now. The vintage hobby, of course, is robust. It's all get out. And today, as a matter of fact, we got good weather, good snow, and a lot of smiling faces. Now, vintage snowmobiling has really taken off. I'm proud of it because there's new generations. The vintage hobby has grown from old rear-engine machines to a vintage era. Now we call it a classic, which is machines up to the year 2000. So there's new generations coming in. The people who are driving here are driving machines that they either wanted when they were kids, or maybe it's the brand that they first drove, their first family machine. It doesn't matter. It caters to all brands. Of course, we have a feature every year. This year it happens to be John Deere. We're celebrating their 50th anniversary of snowmobile manufacture. Now, John Deere was just an implement manufacturer, and they needed a way to get a name, and they wanted to get into racing. They felt that this would create a performance image. And the oval racing on ice, of course, is preoccupied or dominated, I guess is a better word, by Skidoo, Polaris, Arctic. So they decided to go into terrain racing. The famous I-500 race that started in St. Paul and went to Winnipeg or vice versa was what they were after. They assembled a small team of good riders, weight training, they were physically fit because they had to drive these sleds 500 miles. And within 2 years, they had won that race. So we're very proud of John Deere. One man, his name is John Carlson, created this idea and they delivered. The winning sled is in the ballroom right now. John Carlson passed away this summer. Our evening banquet tonight will feature him. We'll honor him. Now, this event is 3 days. There's a big swap meet here. They're racing over to our left here. On Saturday, we have a big trail ride. The highlight of the day, I would argue, is at 11 o'clock. We go on about a mile run here. Today, I was at the front of that line, and I had a thumb counter. My thumb went up and down 488 times. So that was a parade of over half an hour. All different kinds of brands, colors, sounds. It was incredible. This year, we are honored with a family from North Dakota. Dad, in his retirement, said, I always wanted to race the I-500. He lied. His son hears that. Son goes home. And you know what? They drove from Winnipeg to here. They arrived this morning after 4 days. They crossed the border. They recreated the I-500 on lowly John Deere 400s. They made it. No major breakdowns. It didn't crash. It was just amazing. So we're going to honor them tonight. We have in the back parking lot there, I was walking around today, Polaris number 4. Its serial number is 0004. It was built in 1956. And that guy hasn't shown that machine in 25 years. Now, why is he here today? He asked his daughter, who now lives in South Dakota, what can I get the boys for Christmas? She said, Dad, don't bring them a toy, don't bring them a game. They want time with you. So Grandpa thought, how can I best do that? Let's pull that thing from the back barn out. And he's driving around right now with his grandchildren. It is marvelous. It is the magic of vintage snowmobiling. We have a website. Look up Waconia, excuse me, that's the old name. Yeah, Midwest Ride-In. If you Google that, we're trying to get the support of the trail associations, the local clubs, because almost every snowmobile club has members that are into vintage.
Look who I ran into. It's Wyatt Kram.
That's me.
Wyatt, what have you been up to? You become a celebrity, you and your dad.
Yeah, kind of overnight. We hopped on our 73 John Deere 400 snowmobiles and we rode from Winnipeg to the Midwest Ride-In in Elk River, 500 miles. My dad had a bucket list idea. He said, before, someday I want to ride the I-500 route. From the 60s through the 80s, they had the I-500 race, Winnipeg to St. Paul. We can't go to St. Paul, but what better event to ride into than the Midwest Ride-In, the John Deere year.
Yeah.
So we've been planning for about 3 years, heavily for 1 year, getting everything ready to go.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
And this is your sled that you took. What year is this?
It's the 1973 John Deere 400. My dad bought this the year I was born, and I grew up riding this particular sled, and we built a second one identical to match, so we'd have all the same parts.
Okay, and you had a crew going along with you on the road?
Yep, my brother-in-law was our chase vehicle, and then my son hopped in about halfway through, and he actually took over for my dad after a little tree incident, and rode some of it, and he was also helping with social media stuff. So.
All right, so other than the tree incident, sounds like you had a pretty uneventful journey, and it was
yeah, everything went well. The first, from Thief River Falls to Detroit Lakes was rough. It was blowing snow. It was just like the I-500 videos you see. It was really rough. But a lot of the trails from Detroit Lakes on were easy. We did 115 miles a day, and just that's all we did was ride. It was fun. Sure. So on February 12th, we're giving away a 1972 John Deere 400 snowmobile that my dad and I restored with help from the John Deere community for parts. And we're raising money for the Fargo Honor Guard, Memorial Honor Guard, that do funerals for vets. It's something that my dad feels strongly about helping out, and my dad's a Vietnam vet. He was in Vietnam in the Navy from 72 to 76, so he's like trying to give back. We have 3,000 tickets to sell. They're $10 a piece, and you can get them on our website. It's www.i-500challenge.com. i-500challenge.com. Fill out the form. We do it all manually, so we'll contact you if you want tickets, and we'll get them sent out.
Roger, what's next on the bucket list?
I talked to my family this morning. I heard about that Iron Dog race up in Alaska, and of course I kind of looked at them and said, might that be something we try and tackle? And they said, you're going to have to do that alone.
So Roger, have you seen Cody Cam?
No, I haven't seen Cody. I look for him everywhere. I don't know where he is.
All right, we got to find Cody Cam. He's here somewhere. We are down in the pits. Cody Cam's supposed to be here somewhere, so we're going to try to track him down. Joe's going to take me for a groomer ride. Hey Joe, I'm looking for Cody Cam. Have you seen Cody?
We haven't seen Cody. We never know where Cody is.
Where's Cody?
Where's Cody?
Just ran into Cody Cam. Cody, you're 6 points behind the Elias. And are you poised to take back your title this year?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's been a tight race this year, and consistency is key for the new points rules we have in the heat races and stuff like that. So just strong heat races and good finals will be the key to winning the championship this year.
Sounds good. And what can we expect coming from you as we go into Fargo this weekend?
Hopefully it's not as cold as it has been in the past, and I'm just looking forward to having some good races and having a lot of fun. We got to ride quite a bit with having a mishap in our schedule this year, so we got a little bit of extra practice between races from Iowa to Fargo now, so looking forward to it.
All right, ready to go. Do you have something that you'd like to say to Elias?
Good luck. Good luck, Elias.
They even got some good eats here, and when I see a barbecue grill, it gets my attention. What you guys got cooking here today?
Pork chops.
Pork chops. All right, what club are you guys with?
Elk Lake Easy Rider.
Elk Lake Easy Riders. All right, thank you. Don't taste so good.
Absolutely.
I'm here with Frederick of Madison Lake, Minnesota, and he
tell me a little bit about the sled?
Okay, this is exactly what our family sled was. It was a 1967 Skidoo, and I started riding a 1967 Skidoo 10 horse just like this when I was 6 years old. And it was back in the 70s, so this was about 1972. And back then we had so much snow, we would have snow from December all the way until the middle of March at least. And I remember as a kid building snow forts and stuff, and now, you know, we're kind of lucky to get at least a day like this or a weekend like this where we get this kind of snow. But anyways, my dad bought a 67 in the fall of 1967. He bought that 10 horse, and he was actually afraid of his dad knowing about it, my grandpa, so is what he did. We had an old box car, and he took it down and hid it in the box car until wintertime, until he got it out. But that 10 horse my nephew over here has, and so he restored that one. This, of course, is not our family sled, but we still got it in the family. And the family sled was run through 8 kids, and the steering here was actually wore right off on that original 67.
So you kids did a lot of riding back
We
in the
did
day.
a lot of riding back then, running all over the place. And back then, you would actually have entire families show up at the place. I mean, these were families with 8, 10 kids. We even had a family of Fredericks that actually had 17 kids, believe it or not. But yeah, 17 kids. But yeah, we would, and one family would stick to one type of sled. We had the Dowks, they would come over with the John Deeres. We had the other Fredericks, they would come over with the Articats. There was never a mix. It was always Polaris or Scorpion or something like that. And yeah, so that's all it was back then. And I remember too riding it, and I actually thought I was going to go to jail because then the other cousin was out on their 10 horse, and when we come to stop, we come in to stop, and I ran into the back of his sled and punched out the taillight with this right here lined right up and smashed out the taillight, and I started crying. I was 6 years old, and they got pictures of it. I thought I was going to jail for sure. Thought I was done for. But Jesse here can tell you a little bit about the original family sled.
Yeah, that one I acquired from my uncle, and he had it for a number of years, and it was in pieces, and I decided, well, I'll take and restore it, and so I minted it out. I took it to the blaster, and they said, what are you going to do with it? There's nothing left. And I said, I can't throw it away because it's kind of sentimental deal to it. So I decided, oh, I'll keep it and get it all done. And yeah, I minted it out. I've had it at the show for a number of years. And so, yeah, 2 years ago, I brought it here and stuff. But yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Our family was always kind of in Skidoo, but we had some Polarises and Articats over the years. But yeah, we went back to Skidoo because his dad is so into it. It's nothing but Skidoo with him. So
yeah, so it ended up being that.
We started getting back, and the old machine ended up being a lot of fun. I thought when I bought this last year, just even the year before last year, I thought, well, I'm not going to have fun on these old sleds anymore. They're too old, they're too slow. But I tell you, I love them now because you can just take them to the local cafe and they just kind of roll over all the snow, and they just have a nice, soft, cushiony bounce to them, and you're maybe only doing 30 miles an hour, but you stay nice and warm on them, and they're fairly reliable.
So look who I ran into here at the Midwest Ride-In. It's Brian Nelson, and we've worked with Brian in the past when he ran the USXC program, and we were a big sponsor of that. But Brian has a storied history in cross-country racing.
Yeah, well, I started racing when I was 12, and one thing led to another. I've run 11 I-500s. I've only finished 4 times, and I have a couple wins and 1 second and 1 fifth place finish. But it was a great event. Had a lot of fun for many years. And I eventually ended up owning a race circuit the last 8 years, USXC racing, and we put on the 500 for the kids to run, have the same experiences that we did, back in the 70s.
Right. So Brian, this is your sled that you ran in the 1976 I-500, the winning sled. Can you tell us a little bit about that race and the sled?
Well, this particular sled ran one race. We used to build a new sled for every event. Of course, sleds weren't real dependable back then, so we never used parts twice. And we built this sled. I drove it about 35 miles. We put it in the race, and we won the race, and it hasn't run since. And it's been on display all over the country at dealers. It was at Minneapolis Airport for a long time. And now it just goes to shows and sits in the Hall of Fame.
I'm here with Tom White of the Snowmobile Hall of Fame of St. Germain, Wisconsin. And Tom, can you tell us a little bit about the Hall of Fame and some events that you have coming up?
Sure. This February, starting the 17th, we're going to have an event called Legend Laps held at the Eagle River Derby track, where there'll be retired racers and Hall of Famers out there taking their old machines around the track, doing hot laps around the track like the old days. On Friday the 18th, we're going to have our annual fish fry. We're going to have our annual poker run on Friday morning, followed by our fish fry that evening. That will culminate in a presentation from Arctic Cat executives about the 60th anniversary of Arctic Cat.
Okay, that sounds like fun. And if people want to find out more information, if they're interested in coming?
They can go to snowmobilehalloffame.com to get all their information. We also have a Facebook page, Snowmobile Hall of Fame. We're also going to be having our Ride with the Champs event on Saturday the 19th. And that will start with breakfast. You'll get to ride with some snowmobile legends during the day, have lunch with them, ask them anything you'd like, and then watch this year's 4 inductees be inducted that evening at the Whitetail Inn in St. Germain.
All right. And if somebody just wants to come into the Hall of Fame, what kind of things can they expect to see?
They can see the biggest collection of winning snowmobiles and record-holding snowmobiles anywhere in the world. And we are open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. and closing at 5 on Thursday and Friday and 3 o'clock on Saturday.
All right, so that sounds like a great road trip. Check it out.
All right, we look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Cody Cam, and I ride CNA Pro Skis because they are the best, and we have unlimited color choices and everything we want to do with them, and just they make the snowmobile turn and handle the best it can be, and I love them.